Right across the board the whole day. Scarlett was just fantastic, just straightened them up the whole day, and now the attention turns to who the Norm Smith medalist is.
Let's join the AFL Master of Ceremonies, Craig Willis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we commence our formal presentations, firstly, we'd like to acknowledge and thank our Premier partner, Toyota, represented today by Mr. David Butner, Senior Executive of Director of Sales and Marketing for the Toyota organisation. Thank you, Toyota, for a wonderful home and away season, a wonderful final series, and a great grand final. Well, the Port Adelaide Football Club have had a magnificent season, but a tough day. The office here today at the MCG. Would you please welcome the captain of the Port Adelaide Football Club, Warren Tredrea, to say a few words.
Firstly, to the Geelong boys, congratulations. The opportunities don't come around long, but I'd like to thank our supporters for making the trip. You were sensational. Sorry the performance the boys put in today wasn't good enough. And to thank the boys who are part of my team, shown a huge amount of character this year. Fell a little bit short, but thanks a lot.
Thank you, Warren. Warren Tredrea, captain of Port Adelaide, and each player will receive a silver medal as a memento of a wonderful season and, of course, for making the grand final. Ladies and gentlemen, a great deal of pleasure now to introduce to you former Sydney and Carlton champion and winner of the 1987 Norm Smith Medal, David Rhys-Jones, to present the Norm Smith Medal to the player adjudged best of field in the 2007 Toyota AFL Grand Final. David, the winner is?
The winner is Steve Johnson.
First of all, just like to thank Port Adelaide for the game. Obviously, you've gained a lot of respect this year from the footy public and the way you've played. It's a great effort. Like to thank our supporters. You bloody deserve this. This one's for you. And to the boys, bloody great effort. Premiers.
Well done, Steve. Congratulations. You'll be back up here shortly. Well, as you can imagine, it is every young footballer's dream to be on the grand final dais on this last Saturday in September. And ladies and gentlemen, it is with much pleasure that we welcome 22 participants from the NAB AFL Auskick program, and they're going to present medallions, the Premiership medallions, to each player of the Geelong Football Club. Here we go. Number 1, Stephen King.
What a story. The former captain, he was great today. 14 disposals. The last minute call up. What a decision it's proved to be.
Number 3, Brownlow medalist, Jimmy Bartell.
As was once said of another Geelong hero, what more can you say? 28 disposals to go with his Brownlow medal, with his Premiership medallion.
Number 4, Andrew Mackie.
Well, the run that he's provided, this young bloke, he's really added something to this team. I'm sure he'll enjoy another good 10 years in this Geelong outfit.
Number 6, Brad Otten.
So popular with his teammates and his supporters. Been a wonderful player. Got his team into the grand final with his performance in the preliminary. And so good to see him being rewarded for the skills.
Number
and
8,
the attitude.
Josh Hunt.
The boy from Mildura had his doubters, but he's a Premiership player. 15 disposals today.
Number 9, James Kelly.
One of a band of talented young midfielders who started in 2002 with Ablett and Bartel. Very competent performance today. 20 disposals.
Number 11, Joel Corey.
Well, Corey is the centrepiece of this magnificent midfield. He gets lost in the Ablett and Bartel, but he has been absolutely fantastic this year. Had another outstanding game with 25 possessions.
Number 14, the rising star, Joel Selwood.
Modest, skillful, team-oriented. Joins his brother as a Premiership player.
Number 17, Shannon Burns.
Probably thought his chances of playing finals were waning mid-season. Missed 11 weeks. The boy from the Shepparton Footy Club, like Stephen King.
Number 20, the Norm Smith medalist, Steve Johnson.
It is almost the ultimate story of football redemption. Banished by his teammates after straying once too often. 23 disposals, 4 goals and a Norm Smith medal on the big day.
Number 21, Cameron Mooney.
Well, very popular. Here's the barometer of this team. The energy and enthusiasm he brings to this team takes them to another level, and has had an absolutely magnificent season and a great grand final.
Number 23, Nathan Ablett.
Well, what a thrill for the young Ablett. 3 goals. He's going to get better and better, and what a wonderful way to start your career being a Premiership player.
Number 27, Matthew Stokes.
He was a very highly rated junior. Wasn't drafted initially. Fought his way into AFL via the SANFL. Came back from the dead just about today. What a performance from Stokes.
Number 29, Gary Ablett.
The name has magic written all over it. It now has Premiership player written beside it.
Number 30, Matthew Scarlett.
Well, as the quarterback of this team, sets them up with direction, straightens them up out of defence. When you have Scarlett in defence, you must feel so confident as a team.
Number 33, Max Rook.
Hit him hard all day. Plays a defensive job on the opposition's best. Came back from a terrible injury mid-season. Well-deserved Premiership medal.
Number 35, Paul Chapman.
I wonder how much of this can be put down to his comments. Too many passengers, he said, when they lost to the Kangaroos back in round 5. What a day. Great mark. And 4 goals.
Number 39, Darren Milburn.
The grizzled veteran, the most experienced man in the outfit. His 213th game is red letter.
Number 40, David Wojcicki.
Well, recovered from a reconstruction a couple of years ago. Didn't hit his straps last year, but certainly has this year. Has been that missing link, carries the ball into space. Very dangerous with the ball in his hands.
Number 44, Corey Enright.
Popular player, came from the Port Adelaide Magpies. 29 disposals in the grand final. Nobody got more of the ball for his team than Corey Enright.
Number 45, Cameron Ling.
Continues the great redhead tradition at Geelong. No one more popular than Cameron Ling. 25 possessions. We love you, Lingy.
And now, the captain, number 2, Tom Harley.
The man to lead the Cats out of the wilderness after 44 long years.
The captain's curse that was with Geelong for so long is broken.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please welcome 4-time Premiership coach, the great Tom Hafey, to present the Jock McHale Medal to the coach of the 2007 Toyota AFL Premiership team, Mark Thompson. Before we hand over the Premiership Cup, let's hear from Captain Tom Harley firstly.
Firstly, I'll thank Port Adelaide, former club. Had a great year, fantastic year. Should be proud of your efforts. To the AFL and this, all their major sponsors, to our sponsors, Ford. Don't really know what to say yet, but to our boys, it's been an amazing ride. What a turnaround from last year. To all the support staff, the club, and to our boys, I love you all. It's been a long ride, played with spirit, and we are Geelong.
Thank you, Tom. Congratulations. Now let's hear from coach Mark Thompson.
I'd also like just to thank Port Adelaide. Two best teams got to play off in the grand final, and you've had a fantastic year and you're a very good side, and I'm sure you'll bounce back. To everybody that works at the football club at Geelong, a big thank you. Thank you to the, especially the assistant coaches who are just marvellous staff to be involved with. Thanks to the AFL, the sponsors, and all our sponsors, and thank you to the players that represented our club today. You're now Premiership players. Well done. There's a couple of people that have been around this place for a long time, Geelong, and it's Alec Popescu. He's been waiting a long time for a premiership, and Alec, he finally got one, and he's very happy. And the other person is Frank Costa, who is a very, very special man to Geelong. Last thing I'd like to say is thank you for hanging around, supporting the Cats and being so patient. It's been a long time, but we've got there. Well done.
Well, now, the moment you've been waiting for. We have much pleasure in inviting the captain of the 1963 Geelong Premiership team, Fred Wooler, to present the Premiership Cup to Captain Tom Harley and Coach Mark Thompson.
Say it one more time. I see it, but I don't believe it.
Oh, what a wonderful thing for Fred Wooler. 44 years later, to stand on the dais and present the cup to another Geelong captain and coach. It rained goals, it's raining blue and white now. Well done, Mark Williams, to get among the Geelong players after it was over. It must have been a painful experience.
And the lines from the song, the greatest team of all in terms of grand final today, fitting 119 points the margin.
And Port Adelaide score 44.
And Mark Blake, he of course is The somber side of the story. Let's go down to Andrew Marr.
Thanks very much, a man who's been crying like a child for about the last 2 hours. Can you believe how you feel, Big Unit?
No, I can't talk either. I'm sorry, Murray, but mate, this is the best thing that's ever happened to the Geelong Footy Club and the team. They make him talk to them. But mate, this is fantastic to all the supporters out there. And we couldn't win one, but these blokes have. So that's what it's all about.
So it's all about the club and it's all about the team. How can you be so selfless?
Because mate, it's not about me or anyone else. It's about this great club that I played for. So good on you, Bomber, and good on you, Tom, and Stevie Johnson, mate, what a star. So that's what it's all about, mate.
You're one of the great Geelong men. What's it going to mean to the town?
Mate, the town will be the best thing ever. There'll be a boom down there. It'll be bigger than the Gold Rush or Ford or anything else that's happened down there, Murray. Don't worry about it. Get down there tomorrow, get down there tonight, and we will run amok for a month. We're going to drink plenty of frothies.
Back to you.
Oh, Billy.
Speaking of Ford, they began their association with Geelong in 1925. It is an 82-year connection. When Geelong was in terrible trouble in 1999, it brought Ford sponsorship payments, and payback has come today. You would think it might come in other ways into the future.
Look, I think it is fantastic. You've got past players that have lost grand finals, and here they are, standing beside them as one, saying, this is about the Geelong Football Club. This is not about us.
Yeah.
This is about the town and 44 years of missing out, and they've finally got it.
Looking forward to the SEN breakfast show on Monday. I don't think Billy's going to have too much voice left.
Don't expect him there, I wouldn't think.
Let's go back down to Corey, Wingard.
Yeah, have the Norm Smith medalist with me, mate. How does that sit? Norm Smith medalist?
Well, obviously it's a big thrill, but I mean, the most important thing is we got the Premiership Cup now, and that's all that matters. We had 22 good players today, and it's just great effort.
A second to think about your season. Black Band at the start of the year, you had to fight your way back, and you got 2 medals around your neck. How does that sit?
Oh mate, I never would have dreamed of this, but obviously it's a huge turnaround. All the boys have put in so hard, and we just deserve this. Our supporters deserve this, and it's just a great feeling.
The work the boys have done and the way that you've all bonded so tightly, how special is that for you in this footy club?
Obviously everyone's really close knit at the minute, and it's just a great place to be around, and I really felt a part of it this year. They welcomed me back, and just been a fairy tale.
I'm just looking in your eyes. Has it settled in?
Oh, it hasn't sunk in, I don't think, but I'll give it a few days.
Go and enjoy. Well done, mate. You go back to Hutto upstairs.
This is moments to savour here, Vossi.
Well, I think it's important. This is something that I think it's important. They get to see the supporters, they get to look in their eyes and see what it does mean to them. Of course, the players are out there doing it, but the supporters are there riding every bump, and many of them, like has been already stated, have waited a very long time for this experience. And they get to feel and touch the players and see the cup and perhaps even get the drink out of it. What better experience?
I think a great thing about this outcome is that, back to Andrew Marr, you want to talk about what a footy club means as a family. Bud Lawton, a 72-year-old trainer down here at the Geelong Footy Club. How are you feeling?
Very good indeed.
Now, you lost your wife 2 weeks ago. And you've been down at this club for 50, 60 years?
About 40 years.
And they've thrown their arms around you in a time of need, in a time of grief?
Oh, they've been tremendous. Players have been good. The whole football club has been very, very good.
And your wife would have been a passionate Geelong supporter as well?
Ever since I've been here.
How will she be feeling right now?
Good, I think. I think she'll be wonderful.
And you've been working with your grandson as well today, I believe.
My grandson there, James. Yeah. My daughter's up there. She's been looking after me.
How are you feeling, bud?
Pretty low tonight. Yeah. But I'm feeling good, really.
At least this club's giving you something to smile about, eh?
Yes, yeah. The whole team's been good. The whole players been good. I love all of them. You know, the best lot of players we've had, I reckon, in my time in the end.
Good on you, bud. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Back to you, Corey.
Thanks, Andy. Nathan Ablett with me. Nathan, we spoke to Gary early. He said he'd cut his medal in half and give half to Dad. You must have watched Dad miss out so many times. How is it for you?
Oh, yeah. It's obviously something that, Dad wanted, but, it's just, it's for everyone around the club at the moment. It's not just the players, it's the people involved around the club. So it's great to be here and it's great to win one.
What about you personally? A great game. Did you really feel you came of age on the big stage?
Oh, well, it's nice just to be in a grand final for starters, and to win one like this is just, it's great.
You stood back and watched for a second. Have you taken it in? Have you realised what you've done?
I don't think so, no. Back in the rooms, it might come in now.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. Back to you, Hutto.
Thank you, Corey.
It's a real community triumph, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And you can sense it. And I was going to make the comment a moment ago. We've had the powerhouse from the Boom State out west win it last year. We've had the new territory, Sydney and Brisbane, win flags. Been a while since a team from Melbourne's won one, but the one provincial town team in the comp has come good at last.
And they are sharing it so much with their supporters at the rate at which they're moving around the MCG. They won't finish this lap until 7 p.m. And that's great.
Well, they've waited a while for it, Wolsey. They're going to savour every single second of it.
And that's what they should. You never know whether you'll come back here ever again. So take that lap as slow as you like. Take it all in because you want to remember every single moment.
They're keeping a lid on back-to-back at this stage, Wolsey. So there's plenty more celebrations and action to come from the MCG. As the Cats slowly wind their way and soak up the glory and the plaudits. We'll take a break. Geelong Premiers in 2007.
It's a big ad, very big ad. It's a big ad we're in. It's a big ad. My God, it's big. Can't believe how big it is. It's a big man, for counts and drafts. It's just so freaking good. It's a big man, expensive man. This man better sell some bloody
Well, the monkey's off the back for Geelong in record style, the biggest winning margin in grand final history. 119 points. Let's make it an even 20 goals. 24, why not? 24-19, 163 to 68-44. Mooney led the goal scorers with 5. Johnson was the Norm Smith medalist. He booted 4. Chapman was fantastic. He also booted 4. 3 to Ablett. And the list goes on and on for Geelong. Malcolm Blight, Luke Darcy. Firstly, you, Malcolm. Look, for the guys of the 90s that tasted so much disappointment, including yourself, it's time to exercise a few demons, isn't it?
It is, Stephen. Yeah, look, that's the best thing about today, is that Geelong Football Club can move forward now, not live in the past, and this group can set their own destiny. You know the thing I love about grand finals, and when a team has one,
by the way.
Yeah, he was the last of that group that went through, but it's everyone knows what to do. Every player that's ever played the game on grand final day, if you haven't never been there before, everyone knows exactly what they have to do. It's amazing, isn't it?
Now, with no disrespect to Geelong, and I don't want to turn on Port Adelaide, but that was a disgraceful performance, Luke.
Yeah, look,
there's no other word for it.
Oh, no, look,
20 goals.
They are a very proud football club. They have won more premierships in their history. We're going back to the Port Adelaide Magpies. They will be extraordinarily disappointed, and a bit of soul searching that might take the wind out of their sails a bit for next year.
Can that scare you for a couple of years,
I reckon it can. There's going to have to be some open discussion on that. you know, there's a bit of an open forum there. You've got to find out what went wrong on that.
All right, well, that's the negative. Let's go back to the positive, and this will be some sort of party for a while down there, I'd imagine.
Oh, mate, tonight, I went there 3 times as a loser and know how busy it was. It's going to be unbelievably busy down at Geelong.
Yeah, so the Cats are still involved in their lap of honour, and well, as we said, it could go till 7 o'clock the way they're going. Another break from the MCG. Lots more celebrations right after the break. Well, not only celebrating here at the MCG, down, well, not only Skills Stadium, the whole of Geelong's gone nuts. That's the scenes at Caddy Park Skills Stadium. And it is going to be a long, long, long party in Geelong. And why not, as we said, it's been 44 years since the Cats last won a flag. It's their 7th flag in VFL, AFL history. And it puts, well, a few demons to bed. Let's put it that way anyway. It's good to see the Cats finally over the line after a long drought. 24-19, 163, 119 points, a record margin in the grand final. And Port Adelaide had a terrible day, 6-8-44. Some big numbers as far as stats go for both teams. But Geelong by 119 points. OK, Malcolm, it's time now for the Sony full-on Full HD player of the match. It's the grand final. And each week we've been giving away a Bravia LCD TV. But the grand final player of the match deserves something even better. And that's the whole Sony package. The Sony full-on Full HD player of the grand final wins a complete Bravia theatre setup. And it includes a new 46-inch full high-def LCD TV plus a new state-of-the-art Sony home theatre system. So the grand final player of the match will also hear crisp digital surround sound. The total prize is worth in excess of $7,000. Will it be Steve Johnson, the Norm Smith medalist, or you're sharing the wealth, Malcolm?
Steve and I, not to be different, but I did my 3-2-1 after the game. We sat down in Darson. Quite honestly, I thought Matthew Scarlett set it up earlier. It's a great defender. He's had 29 goals.
You won't get many arguments.
No, and Carl Rose and all those guys at Sony, we're going to give it to Matthew Scarlett.
Is that a fair judgment, Luke?
Yeah, I think it's a great call. It's great to see a defender. I mean, obviously Steve Johnson was a forward. He's a worthy Norm Smith medalist, but I'm with Blighty. I thought Matthew Scarlett was outstanding. He just has been the heart and soul of that club at down back, and great result.
Back to the commentary team. Tim Lane, Anthony Hudson, Michael Voss and Robert Walls.
Well, Vossi and Wolsey, let's get your thoughts briefly on why they won and why they won by so much.
Well, they're the best team, that's why. Best team over the year. They share the ball, they're selfless, best back line, best forward line, best midfield. You don't always get what you deserve. I'm glad Geelong did.
Well, I just think, as Wolsey said, they're the best team, and I've just been able to see him here and the power that they play the game. They move the ball so quickly. They turn it over in defence, they run through the middle of the ground, and then they've just got that scoring potency up forward to kick a winning score. And when the ball goes in there that many times, unfortunately with the firepower up forward, it's very hard to stop.
All right, well, 119 points the margin. Let's go back to Stephen Quartermain.
Thanks, Anthony. And it's going to be quite some time before they get into the rooms and actually sing their team song. We will bring that to you later on in 10 News, of course, and Sports Tonight a bit later on.
So one thing you'd want to do, having won one, you can just see the two Ablett brothers there. You want to get out and just soak up as much as you can. I can understand why they're reluctant to go in, because you may not be back there again. You look at them now and you probably think, geez, this side will win another grand final in the next couple of years, but there's no guarantees, is there?
There's certainly not, but we've always talked about that. I mean, they're not an old team by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, they remind you a little bit of the Brisbane in age when
so
they
you're
won
talking a three-peat, Malcolm?
I'm talking a three-peat now for the Cats.
How do you think Gary Ablett Senior will be feeling right now?
He would be absolutely proud of his lads, and just a touch, probably 1% say, gee, it would have been nice if it was me. However, you move on and you can live a bit through your kids, I reckon, and I'm sure he'll be doing that.
That's one of the great stories too, Cors. I'm really happy for Stephen King. He deserves it, and it was a good result for him.
So that wraps it up for season 2007. A big thank you to all the Network 10 crew who helped make today and, in fact, the year possible. It is a huge team effort. In particular, thank you to Dave Barham, the executive producer of AFL, and also David White, the head of 10 Sport. On behalf of the commentary team, congratulations to the Cats winning the grand final in record margin. They are the greatest team of all in 07.
Far It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these.
This is National 9 News with Joe Hall.
The long wait over, Geelong celebrates its first premiership in more than 4 decades.
And there it is! It's the Cats! They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years, but the torture is finally over.
Good evening. Having last tasted success in 1963, Geelong is in a frenzy once more tonight after claiming football's greatest prize. The Cats made easy work of Port Adelaide at the MCG, triumphing by 119 points to record the biggest grand final win in history. Christina Hearn is in Geelong and joins us now. Christine?
Thanks very much, Joe. Well, as you can imagine and you can hear, Geelong is in the throes of one almighty party. Around 5,000 fans turned out here to watch the match on the big screen. It wasn't as big as expected, but they were as vocal as ever. They were quite anxious before the match. No one here was really quite believing that it was actually going to be their year after so many September failures. But once it became apparent it was going to be one almighty thrashing, well, they really started to let their hair down. They really started to enjoy themselves, screaming, cheering, hugging each other, and quite frankly, they haven't stopped ever since. And why would they? It's been 44 years since the Premiership Cup has made its way down the highway. And let's take a look at the moment that the final siren sounded and that drought finally broke.
That's the greatest thing that's happened in Geelong for 44 years. Go Caddy! The last time they won was the year I was born. Now they've won it. It's great. Fantastic. Come on, Geelong!
Did you think it would be such an annihilation?
We were hoping so. We hate Port. Go Caddy!
Just over the moon, just can't believe it. It's great. Go Cats!
Well, they are an excited lot, as you can hear, but fairly well behaved. There's been no major incidents yet. All of these fans are expected to kind of spill out onto Geelong city streets and fill up the pubs and clubs through the night. The players, of course, won't be here tonight. They've got commitments in Melbourne, but it will be one almighty turnout when they come back here tomorrow to meet the fans. I reckon all of Geelong will turn out, and we've just been told that a street parade has been planned for Geelong for Wednesday. It looks like it's going to be a massive night here in Geelong, but for now, Joe, it's back to you.
Okay, thanks, Christine. Geelong's victorious team remains at the MCG, where presentations have only just finished, with much of the crowd who've toasted their success simply happy the Premiership Cup is back in Victorian hands. Heath O'Loughlin is there for us.
Thanks very much, Joe. Well, I can tell you I was lucky enough to be inside the stadium when that final siren sounded. But despite the fact that the game was done and dusted at pretty much, you'd have to say, half-time, there was an amazing air of expectation just before that siren went. The players were chipping the ball around, trying to get it into their captain's hands. And when the siren went, it was unbelievable inside. The stadium absolutely erupted. And I'll have to say there was one overwhelming emotion from the crowd inside, and that was relief. That also passed on to the players and the coach, Mark Thompson, as he took to the stage.
What I'd like to say is thank you for hanging around, supporting the Cats and being so patient. It's been a long time, but we've got there. Well done.
To our boys, it's been an amazing ride. What a turnaround from last year. To all the support staff, the club, and to our boys, I love you all. It's been a long ride, played with spirit, and we are Geelong.
Ali there, Joe, absolutely excited about the win. Now I can tell you the guys are going to have a massive night. They'll have their official dinner after going to Federation Square at the Crown Casino. For now, it's back to you. I'll be back later in sport.
Good, thanks Heath. The mighty Melbourne Cricket Ground was packed almost to capacity for the blockbuster. And as Clint Stanaway discovered, the opportunity for supporters to show off their true colours wasn't ignored.
The trip from Geelong may have taken just on an hour, but for many it's been a lifetime coming.
Go Cats! Go Geelong! Go the Cats!
By rail and by road, Cats fans descended on Melbourne in their droves. Port supporters started their journey much earlier. After 13 hours, they'd arrived deep in enemy territory. An early start too for MCC members. Some had queued since Thursday to secure seats. But as always, there were plenty who missed out.
Any returns at all? No, there will not be any tickets sold from this thing.
The aptly named September Club was a popular choice, but nothing surpasses the traditional car park barbecue. Entertainment system to boot.
It's been a long time between drinks.
And after 44 years in the wilderness, there was good reason for Cat fans to go all out.
How long does it take you to get dressed?
Mate, I've got 2 assistants there. Yeah, do a bit of work. Takes half an hour.
The tights, they're my grandpa's leggings. Used to wear them to bed.
If they win, stand by. The town will boom. It'll be like a mini gold rush, actually a major gold rush. Get down there, all roads will lead to the Caddy.
And if former players were feeling nervous, spare a thought for Jenny and Elmer, the mother and grandmother of Cat Steve Johnson.
I never thought I'd see the day.
And what's that goes through your mind? Are you a little bit nervous?
No, not really. I've got full confidence in him.
He might be a chance of becoming Prime Minister, but there was a good reason why Kevin Rudd wasn't about to punt on this result.
The Port Adelaide tie. Just explain that situation.
Well, it's called marital solidarity. I'm married to a fine woman from South Australia.
The Premier, though, was backing the locals.
Now we're looking for a great and glorious Geelong victory. Go Cats. Crushing.
But by early afternoon, the Teal Army had grown in number and voice.
We were here in 04 and we're back to take it away in 07.
And this is what it's all about, what every footballer plays for. The Premiership Cup, carried this year from Federation Square all the way to the MCG, carried of course by one of the game's legends.
It's a different experience, Holly, when you know you've got to give it to someone else, but look, it's great just to be part of the day. It's a great day.
And it wasn't long before he did have to hand over the silverware. The massive MCG crowd treated to a pre-match spectacular, which included the acknowledgement of retired champions.
Premiership player and Norm Smith medalist, Glenn Archer.
It's one day in September, a day to sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. Clint Stanaway, National 9 News.
Having dominated the home and away season, Geelong started the match a strong favourite, but few could have predicted the ease with which they'd win. The Cats seemingly taking out 44 years of frustration on a hapless Port Adelaide side. Chris Jones with the highlights.
As both sides ran onto the ground, it was Geelong the obvious crowd favourite.
And here they come.
A sold-out MCG in full voice as the moment finally arrived. Port Adelaide copped the brunt of the heavy hits early, both on the ground and the scoreboard.
First strike to the Cats.
They had the opening 2 goals to settle the nerves.
Another one who the Cats will be hoping gets up today.
And then it was Ablett Jr.'s turn to ignite the crowd.
Oh, and again there's a turnover, and Ablett, the little genius, drives it home.
Desperate to stop the onslaught, one of the Power's guns stepped up.
Here's Burgoyne. The Panther strikes.
Bartel then capping off a great week as the Cats opened up a 23-point quarter-time lead.
Tell, not a big goal kicker, but he's got one to go with that Brownlow.
And the barrage in front of goals continued with Johnson playing the starring role.
Steve Johnson for his third.
And then the youngest Ablett put his stamp on the game.
Nathan Ablett for 2 in a minute.
With the margin blowing out, the Cats were uncompromising, and it was Chapman who put the finishing touches on a dream half. The Cats leading by 52 points.
Chapman can run in and finish the job.
While they were brilliant, the coach wanted more.
If we had a kick straight, it would have been a lot better, but we're just got to maintain a lot of things that we're doing.
And that's exactly what his players delivered.
That is a lovely kick. It is a beautiful kick.
Port Adelaide tried to take up the fight to the Cats, but their opponents were simply flying high.
set himself. You could see he wanted to go for it.
Mark Williams had seen enough as Geelong stars continued to queue up.
Nathan Ablett over the top, and it's Burns to finish it.
And by three-quarter time, it was a Cat mauling.
Chapman, he's had a great day. They all have.
No team had ever been beaten by 100 points in a grand final, but that was surpassed early in the final term.
Ling pops it through, and the lead is in 3 figures.
It was a complete power blackout as Geelong continued their barrage of goals.
All the way was Stevie J.
The final siren sparking wild celebrations as Geelong ended 44 years of misery.
And there it is. It's the Cats. They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years.
And after Steve Johnson claimed the Norm Smith medal, the only thing left was to hold the Premiership Cup aloft, something Cat fans could quickly get used to. Chris Jones, National 9 News.
In 2 hours from now, the Geelong players will get their first taste of the spoils that await them when they're introduced to their fans at Federation Square. 10,000 are expected, with the festivities already underway. Caroline Rondo is there. What's happening, Caroline?
Thanks, Joe. Well, celebrations are well and truly started here at Federation Square. I'm hoping you can hear me because Old Man River have just kicked off the party behind me. Now, you saw the scenes earlier at Geelong, but that moment when the Cats seized victory from Port Adelaide was just as magic here.
Sensational. Yeah, bring it on. Next year, back to back. Let's go.
We've been waiting for this day for such a long time. We couldn't get into the grounds, but we just had such a great time.
I mean, I don't mind
embarrassing.
them. I don't mind them winning, but like that's totally a joke.
Take it off.
Joke.
My son was on life support 6 weeks ago. He was just born. He has brain damage. He's a Geelong member. This is for my son.
So some very emotional supporters here, but of course what everyone's waiting for is the Premiership team. They're due here at 8 o'clock. There'll be a presentation on stage, interviews with the players, the coach, and most importantly, a chance for all these dedicated fans to thank the players in person. So it's a wonderful day to be a Victorian, Joe. It's back to you.
It is indeed. Thanks, Caroline. The rest of the day...
Welcome back to the MCG. Well, we showed you all of the highlights earlier. Now it's time to listen to the reactions from the players after Geelong's stunning grand final win.
Speechless. Just feels so good, all the work you put in during the year, you know. And, oh mate, I don't know.
What about watching Dad those times when he didn't get the job done and knowing that the cup's coming to you?
Yeah. Let's put it this way, I'll cut the medal in half and give him half.
Oh, bloody amazing, I'll be honest. I didn't think it'd ever turn out like that. We've had a hard year and a hard few years, but geez, the boys played well today. Just everyone played as a team and such a good feeling.
A Premiership player and a Brownlow medalist, mate. Can that sink in?
No, I love the Brownlow, but all I wanted was a Premiership medallion, but got one and it's just hard to describe it.
What about your dad at half-time? Did he come down and have a chat to you?
Not at half-time. He came in before the game and said g'day and just told us to enjoy ourselves, and yeah, it's just fantastic.
Can you believe it?
I can't. I don't think he's fully sunk it in yet, but yeah, it's fantastic, mate.
Oh, mate, I'm bloody spent. I'm bloody tired. It's just the best feeling I've ever had. So.
And a great effort it was. Now to the NRL Grand Final and more than 80,000
for the way.
Welcome back. We're going to cross straight to the Victoria's Geelong rooms. Our man on the spot is Dylan Howard. And Dylan, they must be ecstatic down there.
Oh, Tim, you've got no idea. 44 years of misery, and one of the unfortunate players who has endured that is Barry Stunham, a former skipper. Baz, what is this like?
Well, first, not 44, I'm 39, not 44, but no, sensational. My voice is going, but a really emotional day. The way they played today was outstanding. They've been best all year this season, and the way they played today was just an amazing brand of football to win the Premiership.
Have you clapped eyes on the Premiership Cup yet?
No, I haven't as yet. I saw it before the game. I walked away from it because it's a bit of an omen, I think, a bit of a curse. But look, in there tonight, the rooms, it's a great atmosphere, and the people who are in there, the players, the relatives, the girlfriends and so forth, are over the moon. And the start of the year, who would have thought at the start of the year that Geelong would have won the Premiership this year, and just an amazing effort.
Now, you've endured the heartache of lost grand finals. What does this mean to a city? Everyone from Geelong had tears in their eyes.
Yeah, look, it's a huge thing for the Geelong town. I mean, they've been through a lot of hard times in 44 years, as you said before, with 5 losing grand finals. But, I mean, they've had their hard times, disappointments, but this today breaks open the shackles. The monkey's off the back, so to speak, and Geelong town will be partying like there's no tomorrow. Tonight, tomorrow and tomorrow night and Monday, the whole week will be a massive week for Geelong town, and credit to them, sensational.
Barry, you're going to party hard tonight. I think everyone from Geelong is. Congratulations, mate. Get in there and enjoy it. Well done. And Tim, the Cats rooms, well, they're going off.
Thanks, Dylan. It won't worry Cat fans, but it was the most lopsided AFL grand final in history. The Cats' record-breaking 119-point win was the biggest winning margin in 109 years. Cameron Mooney booted 5 goals with Paul Chapman and Steve Johnson 4 apiece.
Stokes lasted 5 minutes before injuring his right knee.
Stokes is hurt. He is hurt. Stokes is hurt.
Mooney stood tall and gave the grand final its first goal.
It's all set up for Cam. He can let it go. He takes it.
Johnson's goal form continued as Geelong had its second.
And Steve Johnson, another one who the Cats will be hoping gets up today.
Cassisi felt King's AFL comeback as Gary Ablett's power surge gave the Cats a 2-goal buffer.
And Ablett, the little genius, drives it home.
Burgoyne responded for the power as Ottens then Bartel inspired the Cats.
Bartel, not a big goal kicker, but he's got one to go with that Brownlow.
Johnson and Rook continued the Cats' charge in the second term.
Rook's a chance from inside 50, Slapsy Maxi.
The Nathan Ablett show extended Geelong's lead to 53 points as the grand final became a thumping. Brogan's knee gave way as Chapman joined the party.
And Chapman can run in and finish the job.
Mooney and the Cats began the second half just like the first.
That is a lovely kick. It is a beautiful kick. The Cats are going all the way.
The frustration bubbled over for Chad Corns as Chapman flew. The grand final became a training run.
As Ottens brings up the 100 for the Cats and puts them 71 points in front.
Almost every time Geelong went forward, they majored.
And extend the lead to 90 points.
As Ling joined the celebration in the final term.
It is an unthinkable shellacking.
Despite leading by the biggest margin in AFL history, the Cats kept coming.
All the way with Stevie J.
And there it is.
Steve Johnson won the Norm Smith medal as the Cats broke their 44-year drought. David McHugh, 7 News.
For coach Bomber Thompson, it's been a long wait to finally achieving a premiership win in his 8th season at the helm.
Thank you to the, especially the assistant coaches, who are just marvellous staff to be involved with. And thank you to the players that represented our club today. You're now premiership players, well done. Last thing I'd like to say is thank you for hanging around, supporting the Cats and being so patient. It's been a long time, but we've got there. Well done.
Well done indeed. Storm enforcer Ben Cross is expected to play in tomorrow's NRL.
Change with showers Saturday. And that's the news on this grand final day. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
The drought well and truly broken. Geelong, the 2007 AFL Premiers.
They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years.
Port powerless to stop the onslaught. As Peter Costello given away the election game plan. And the gates shut. No horses will cross the border for the Spring Carnival. Good evening, Kathy Boland with ABC News. Geelong has broken its 44-year Premiership drought with a crushing win over Port Adelaide in today's AFL Grand Final at the MCG. The 119-point margin is the biggest in Grand Final history and will ensure this team of Cats is remembered as one of the best ever. Matt Brown joins us from Federation Square, where the members of the Premiership team will be presented to the crowd in just a few minutes. Matt, it was an impressive performance.
It certainly was, Kathy, the likes of which we've never seen on this last Saturday in September. It was certainly, Hawthorn beat Melbourne by 96 points back in 1988, but this was certainly at another level altogether. In a way, it was a little bit of a disappointing way to finish this season, which has been so competitive, including a very close final series. But what a great story it is for the people of Geelong. They've waited a long time for this, and what a way to break a drought.
The Cats had the game won at half-time, but when the final siren went, the relief was obvious.
Geelong are the premiers for 2007.
The Cats finished the season on top of the ladder, but no one saw this coming. For a club which has made a habit of losing grand finals, the record-breaking margin will put many of its demons to rest. The win capped off a long day for the Cats, both on and off the ground.
Oh, we got in here at 5 this morning to get front posse. It's the only way to do it, just to get in with the spirit of all the people walking past.
The Cats may have been the home side, but Port also had plenty of support. They came by train, they came by foot, and they came in numbers. The Cats had lost their last 5 grand finals. Some can remember them, others may not, but they were united today. Others couldn't have cared less. They were just here to enjoy the moment.
See the hordes of people. It's just an unbelievable day. One day in September.
What a records, $15, grand final edition.
Inflated prices were the order of the day, especially if you wanted a ticket to the game.
Pay $300, $400. If anyone looking down the barrel, if anyone's got one, here I am.
Others tried different tactics.
Are we good looking enough for tickets?
For those who couldn't find tickets, there were alternatives, either in the pubs of Melbourne or down the highway at the Cats' home. Those who did make it inside watched on as AFL chairman Mike Fitzpatrick plucked the Premiership Cup from the skies. After 3 hours of battle, Geelong had won the right to keep the trophy. It will join 6 others in the Cats' trophy cabinet, filling a space that's been empty for 44 years.
Kathy, they'll be parting at the other end of the Prince's Highway tonight, and why shouldn't they? This has been a long time coming. We'll have all of the match highlights, including a word from both coaches, later in sport with Angela Pippos.
Almost 100,000 fans packing the MCG to watch Geelong and Port Adelaide go head-to-head.
Go the Catters!
Boo the Cats, go the power! Woo!
They came from near and far to see their hopes and dreams realised.
Been waiting a long time for this, and I don't want to cry at the end of the game.
Melbourne was abuzz with finals fever.
Got the power to win.
At the traditional grand final breakfast, neither political leader was talking election, but the Treasurer couldn't resist.
September, the last day in September, and last day in November, is it?
Well, is it? Well, you've just called it, have you? You've taken over already, have you?
Sometime between now and Christmas, and it won't be Christmas Day.
A sea of teal, black and white, and navy blue and white made its way to the MCG.
Go Power! Woo Geelong!
It's first grand final I've been to with Geelong, and first one I've seen, so make the most of it.
Some were still hoping to get lucky.
We've travelled from Adelaide. We left Thursday night, and all my other mates got tickets, but I was the idiot that didn't get them, so...
And if you can't beat them, some decided to join them in their own way. Believe it or not, Geelong captain Tom Harley played one game for Port Adelaide in 1998, and that was against Geelong. Now, 10 years later, he's leading the Cats out on what's the biggest day in the AFL calendar. Geelong carried the hopes of the state on their shoulders.
We've come up from Geelong today and we love it.
Port Adelaide fans were aiming for their team's second Premiership Cup.
Been 10 hours on the bus. It's a long way from South Australia. Power is in the soul. We love the power.
And this had to be one of the bravest at the G, still supporting his beloved Hawthorn team.
You should paint the brown, blue and the yellow white.
What do you think of them?
I shouldn't.
That day in September is over for another year, but in 365 days' time, the battle will begin all over again. Carolee Tilvern, World News Australia.
Coming up next, Mike Tomalaris with all the day's sports news, and it was pretty one-sided today, Mike.
Janice, as a contest, it was a little disappointing as well. Geelong was just rampant against Port Adelaide, and it was one-way traffic at the MCG as the Cats claim their first grand final in 44 years. Geelong has produced the biggest win in AFL Grand Final history, thrashing Port Adelaide at the MCG by 119 points. It ended a 44-year Premiership drought for the Cats, whose last flag came in 1963, with the club suffering through 5 losing grand finals in between.
Geelong came to the MCG in search of a dream end to a fairy tale season. Port Adelaide looked unlikely contenders at the start of the year, but powered into the grand final with a thumping win over the Kangaroos. With so much on the line, it was a predictably tight start to the match, with some heavy hits early. Cameron Mooney won the first bet of the day, scoffing at 8-1 odds to post the Cats' first major.
First right to the Cats.
Stokes looked like his day was over early with a nasty knee injury.
And he's been playing on Peterborough.
But Big Brad Otten showed the Cat spirit with a great chase and tackle.
Striding out against Brad Ottens, but maybe overconfident.
Burgoyne had plenty of the ball for the power, but it was up to Port skipper Warren Tredrea to get them on the board.
And he kicks Port's first goal of the grand final.
Johnson stretched a 23-point lead at the first break to 29 points early in the second.
Steve Johnson for his third.
He's a star.
Port coach Mark Williams clearly worried as Nathan Ablett kicked his first, then pulled in a one-hander reminiscent of his famous father.
It's beyond 50 now.
More worries for Port when Dean Brogan limped off. Despite 2 late goals to the power and some wasteful kicking from Geelong, Chapman's goal kept the dream within reach. Cats taking a massive 52-point lead into the long break. Early in the third term, Bartel extended the lead to 65 points as the unlucky Mark Blake looked on from the grandstand. It seemed the Cats had got about as good as they could get, but Chapman had other ideas. The third term became a procession as the Geelong forwards lined up for a chance to score.
He's had a great day. They all have. Mark another one down for the Cats.
Halfway through the 7-goal-to-1 third term, Mark Williams looked resigned to a thumping, and what a thumping it was shaping up to be. The power facing an insurmountable 90-point margin at three-quarter time. The final quarter was about how far the Cats, fans celebrating the end of a 44-year drought at their home Cardinia Park and at the MCG. The celebrations underway early on the boundary. Port died a slow death. The end mercifully came with a record 119-point margin.
And there it is! It's the Cats! They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years, but the torture is finally over.
Stephen Johnson capped off a remarkable return from a club-imposed suspension to win the Norm Smith medal, the pride of the Cats triumphant as the Premiership Cup returned to Victoria for the first time since 2000.
I see it, but I don't believe it.
Tim Stoney, World News Australia.
44-year Premiership drought is over, and it could not have been any more emphatic. The match as a contest was over by half-time, and in the end the margin was a record-breaking 119 points. It'll now go down in history as the most one-sided grand final ever.
Sensational.
All the mind games of the week were forgotten as the top 2 sides after the home and away season stepped out onto the biggest stage in Australian football.
With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea.
Geelong went in as selected after Darren Milburn was declared fit to play, as Gary Ablett was given a taste of what to expect on the last Saturday in September. He got up, and remarkably so did teammate Matthew Stokes after wrenching his knee. Cameron Mooney scored the first goal of the day, and live wire Steve Johnson followed up with another to give the Cats the early ascendancy.
And Steve Johnson, another one who the Cats will be hoping gets up today.
Warren Treadray provided the steadying influence, but the Port Adelaide defenders were clearly nervous, this error setting up Gary Ablett. And when Jimmy Bartell slotted one through on the left foot, the Cats were 22 points up.
Not a big goal kicker, but he's got one to go with that Brownlow.
The Cats cemented their advantage in the second. Johnson's third brought the crowd to its feet. Max Rook joined in the party, but the real damage was being done in the middle. Consecutive goals to Nathan Ablett pushed the margin out to a dangerous 53 points. The Cats were simply ferocious, while it just got worse for Port with an injury to Dean Brogan. And by half-time, Geelong had one hand on the cup.
And Chapman can run in and finish the job.
The match as a contest was killed off early in the third. Paul Chapman took the honours for the screamer of the day, as the Cats set about burying the 2004 champions.
All the way was Stevie J.
The siren couldn't come quick enough for Port, and when it did come, 44 years of pent-up emotion boiled over.
And there it is! It's the Cats!
The captain of Geelong's 1963 Premiership team presented the cup, and the celebrations kicked off again, and no doubt they'll continue for a long time. Steve Johnson took out the Norm Smith medal for best on ground. Well, let's hear what both coaches had to say after the match, starting with a modest Mark Thompson.
It was a fairly impressive game. Well, obviously, we are very proud of their efforts. To win by a record margin in a grand final is extraordinary, and just caps off just a marvellous year for the Geelong Footy Club. And we've all just got to be just in awe of what these guys have produced this year.
Firstly, on behalf of the club, I'd like to apologise for the effort and the performance we put on today. You know, obviously we've been playing great footy, and it really today didn't reflect anything near what we've been able to produce in the last probably 6, 7, 8 weeks.
For now, Angela and I will join you again tomorrow night at 7. Till then, good night.
Today on the grand final edition of the Sunday Footy Show.
And there it is! It's the Cats! They've come so close so many times!
The Cats were absolutely perfect, breaking their 44-year Premiership drought in emphatic style.
It's fair dinkum unbelievable, Bobby!
It was enough to make a big man cry.
Mate, this is the best thing that's ever happened to Geelong Footy Club.
We'll bring you all the highs and lows of the AFL's biggest day. All that and more this morning on the Sunday Footy Show.
Yes, a very good morning wherever you might be watching. Welcome to this grand final edition of the Sunday Footy Show. And for everyone in Geelong, they're just putting those celebrations on hold for the next 60 minutes as we dissect and reflect on that magnificent performance yesterday at the MCG. As we check the results, and this is just dream stuff. You don't need the scores, you just need the margin. Geelong defeating Port Adelaide by 119 points. A record margin, that one, and that will long be celebrated down there at the place they used to call Sleepy Hollow, but it's wide awake today, that's for sure. As we welcome the panel of sorts, starting with where Billy would normally sit, and what's actually going on there, Bix?
Well, Billy couldn't quite make it in. I think we'll be catching up with Billy later.
Actually, there is a resemblance there. Both Billy and that dummy are stuffed completely. So we'll catch up with Billy very, very shortly. BT, well done on another great call yesterday.
Thank you. Have we found Billy yet? He's been hard to find in the last sort of 10 hours, hasn't he?
Yes, and we did rejig the rundown only seconds ago because we have actually managed to find him. Danny?
What a magnificent win. Broke the drought. It's great to see. They've just won everything this year, Geelong.
Yeah.
Everything.
All the boxes have been tick, 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 tick.
Ticked them all, Tone.
Yeah, exactly. And Stephen King, 2 premierships in the 1 week.
Unbelievable. You've got to feel for young Mark Blake, of course.
And Egan, the only 2 players at Geelong on the list not to play in a premiership.
Exactly. Neither did this fellow, but he certainly feels like he's a premiership player today. As we welcome live, we think, from Geelong, Billy Brownless. How are you, Bill?
G'day, mate. How are you, Tony? And how good was that world record winning margin? 119 points. We just blew them away, and it's fantastic down here. No more handbags, no more Sleepy Hollow, no more chokers. The Cats, the Premiers. Fantastic.
Okay, try not to lift the arms, Bill. We just got a little bit of deodorant trouble there, but...
Have you had any sleep, Bill?
Look at this. Look.
Is that it, Billy?
Premiership player. Did you see me up on the podium? I'm a premiership player, boys.
Where are you exactly, Bill?
I'm at the Lord of the Isles having a few frothies.
Billy, where have you been all night, Bill?
I've been at the Lord of the Isles having a few frothies.
Whose medal is it you've got, Bill? Whose medal?
It's mine. It might be it's Andrew Mackey's, but he's given it to me, which is fantastic. So, but I've got something else here. This is official now, boys. Righto, Mick, get it on this. The lid is off! It is officially off! The lid is off! We're all the best! The Cats are Premiers, and you all get stuffed!
Is there anyone there actually with you, Bill, or you're in a room by yourself just dreaming?
I think he's cleared the room.
I'm actually in a room by myself yelling. I don't know what I'm doing. But how was that fantastic? And you got no idea what it means to the city of Geelong. Last night, the city was gridlocked. They had to close the streets in the town, and the coppers were there. There was blokes surfing on cars and things like that. And it was going to be a huge day. There'll be 28 to 30,000 people at Skilled Stadium today for the Family Day.
Billy, where are all the players at the moment, mate?
The players we've got a couple coming up very shortly. Here's the streets of Geelong, of course, or it might be in Melbourne, I don't know, I don't care. But the players have, some of them got some sleep. I know Stevie Johnson got a couple of hours sleep. He was very tired and emotional. But we might try and get him later on. What a story that is. Of course, All-Australian, Norm Smith medalist, and now a premiership player. So we might have to have a chat to Jono.
Billy, I just want to make mention that, and we saw it on the coverage yesterday when you were quite emotional. This means a hell of a lot to you, isn't it? I mean, you're not just a Geelong man because you played for Geelong and it's the Billy thing to do, but you are really Geelong through and through, and to see you shed a tear yesterday was just remarkable.
Yeah, well, it's been half my life, Tone, and I'm losing the voice here. It's been half my life, and I played in 4 grand finals and lost 4 grand finals, so I know I had nothing to do with yesterday, but it was just fantastic to see those boys win it. It means a lot to a lot of past players. There was a lot of them there last night, and there's not one touch of envy or anything like that. It's just all about now that the Geelong Football Club has won the Premiership, and look, we couldn't be happier, and good on them and good on these blokes. They're a great bunch of blokes, and they could be a distant dynasty, I think they call it, now for the next 3 or 4 years.
Billy, you must have wondered those 4 times when you weren't able to be a part of a premiership, what the feeling was like. Has it gone beyond your expectations?
Well, it's an interesting one because you kind of don't know what to do. And I spoke to a couple of players last night, and they weren't sure what to do and what to expect. And we had a function at Federation Square, and there was 12,000 people there, and that was fantastic. And then we went back to the Crown Palladium, and the boys weren't sure what to do. They sat around, had a few beers, and then they actually come back to Geelong on a bus. So, and I think they've had a few more there and just got amongst it, and now they're just getting together as a team and reminiscing, I suppose. And the Premiership win is slowly sinking into them.
All right, Billy, go and lubricate the throat, and we'll come back to you a little. We'll come back to you a little later on. In fact, we're going to see Billy lubricate the throat, no? And you're going to have some special guests with you, yeah?
Yeah. Andrew Mackey's going to join us, and Stevie Johnson,
terrific.
or as we call him now, Norm. Norm Smith.
All right, good on you, Billy. Sit tight. All right, let's reflect on that game at the MCG yesterday. And from the moment that final siren went, as Billy said, the lid was off.
Oh, fantastic scenes of emotion there. I was watching Brian Cook and Frank Costa for most of the last quarter in the stands, and they couldn't contain their emotion when they were just sitting in their seats. And once the final siren went, Mark Thompson was down there to greet his team. It was obviously a fantastic moment for the Geelong Footy Club.
They carried so much expectation with them from fairly early on in the season when they were on top of the ladder, and you just saw that absolute release there. There's no doubt a bit of relief, but there's also just the exuberance that comes with realising something that hasn't happened for so long.
Well, I was going to ask you, Bix, because you've been there, done that on 2 occasions. The overwhelming emotion is just one of relief?
Well, that's the first thing, because I guess you're really worried you're going to go through your whole career and not play in a premiership, and that's the first thing. But then it's just, you just feel wrapped and excited because you dream about what it must be like, and then to see the joy that it brings to so many people, that's the real benefit of it.
Bix, you've been on the days here as we see Tom Harley and Mark Thompson. Tom Harley, interestingly enough, started at Port Adelaide, played a game for the Port, so he's an Adelaide boy, and now he's a Geelong Premiership captain. That's an amazing story.
Oh, a fantastic story for Tom. He was on their initial list. He played 1 game, and then he becomes the player who captains the side that beats them in a grand final. So great story for Tom, and look, he hasn't been without his critics at different stages early on when he took over the captaincy, and for him to really stand up, and he's been an absolute fantastic leader for Geelong.
In all of that vision, the one composed person in the whole thing was Mark Thompson.
But I think that's indicative of Mark Thompson, isn't it? And we saw that right through the week. I mean, he was not going to get caught in any mind games, and he was not going to get carried away with the week.
A big tick to Frank Costa and Brian Cook. They were under pressure this time last year to sign Mark Thompson to fulfil his contract, so they've vindicated the decision now, and I agree with Bill. They're going to have a dynasty now. They've got young Varco, Hawkins, Selwood, these younger players with this young team also.
Just on Mark Thompson, I was fortunate enough to be standing alongside Mark Rasciuto on the ground in some of the pre-match stuff, and as he was walking over to do listen to the national anthem, he took 25 seconds out, went over to Mark Rasciuto and just congratulated him on his career and just thanked him for that. And I just thought that was really good too, to just take some time out to talk to another player at a big time in Mark Thompson's life.
You talk about Bomber Thompson coming back from adversity when he was hung, drawn and quartered for all intents and purposes. But what about Stevie Johnson? He was banished by his own club for the first 6 weeks of the season and has come back, and as Billy said, he's now known as Norm.
Yeah, well, he had a fantastic game, Stevie Johnson. When the game was there to be won nice and early, when Port were some chance, Johnson turned a light. He kicked the 4 goals. He had 23 disposals, 8 inside 50s, BT.
You were involved in the voting of the Norm Smith medal, Spud. Did he have it wrapped up by half-time in your own mind? I mean, obviously things can happen after half-time, but in hindsight, was it wrapped up at half-time?
It certainly was, BT. It was wrapped up. When the game was there to be won, Scala played really well. Chapman you could have thrown. Brad Otten's in there also. Corey Enright. But Steve Johnson, he was the player when the game was there to be won the first half. He was absolutely sensational.
It was interesting with the voting. Only 3 players polled votes. It was the same 3 players, but in different combinations. I think it was Stephen Johnson had 13, Paul Chapman 10, and Matthew Scarlett 7. So that's really interesting that all the judges saw those 3 players as the best player on the ground.
I must admit, waking up in the morning when you know you've got to vote for the Norm Smith, when I said a week ago I'd do it, there is a little bit of pressure on you because you do change someone's life.
You didn't cope at all. You were
I was
struggling with it.
fine with it, BT. The facts are you were putting a little bit of pressure on through the call. And it is, you have to be confidential, but at the end of the game, when you sit down, when the game was there to be won, Steve Johnson was a deserved winner.
Jimmy Bartell, a deserved winner of the Brownlow, we all know that, and sometimes you think the weight of the Brownlow, is it going to weigh heavily on him, but certainly not yesterday.
No, and the longer the game went, the more comfortable he became. He had a massive second half. Just saw that great goal there on the left foot, but almost 20 possessions in the second half, ended up with 28 for the game, a couple of goals. So, look, it's just so fitting that he plays well on the big day, and very deserved winner of the Brownlow, and just what a year for him.
Oh, look, and I was absolutely wrapped with the commitment of Brad Ottens. He was under pressure during the game. He had Lade and Brogan, but what about a game from this big fella? Have a look at this chase. This typified BT.
It was early, wasn't it?
It was early. Have a look at this. You know, he could have just given up the ghost of being a ruckman having a spell, but he's chasing down Pettigrew here. Mark Thompson would have been thinking, it's in the bag now.
And on the opposite side of the ground, he went for a 3 bounce from half back to half forward, 3 bounce run. It was amazing. Look at that, the run down from the big fella there. Not expected to do those sort of things, but did it.
That is the chase of the year, without a doubt. Kicked 1 goal 3, could have been right up there in the vote if he kicked straight.
Righto, we've looked at the jubilation. What about the commiseration for Port Adelaide? This is going to hurt.
Well, they had 10 Premiership players going into the game. You think, well, they've been to the big stage. They're ready to go. They had a terrific win against the Kangaroos the week before. Did it happen too easily from last week?
Yeah, look, in hindsight, you look back and you can pick and make a story about all different things. But look, it's just a really unfortunate day for Port Adelaide. We just see Darryl Wakeler now. That's his last game. He's retired now. But it just didn't go right from the younger players.
I don't reckon it didn't go right for them. I reckon they were in such a state that they talked themselves into being casual and calm during the week and even on the day of the grand final. Nothing was going to affect them. They were going to go and do their normal things. You know what? They're actually too casual. They were almost asleep when they started the game. They didn't get themselves up enough. There's a fine line between getting yourself up enough and going over the top.
No, hang on, Brian. Hang on a minute. We've all got PhDs in hindsight, haven't we? What's that?
Tony, we called this before the game, Tony.
Did you just open your wallet or something, did you? There's a moth flying around.
I agree with BT, because on this one, when the game was there to be one of the contested possession stakes, and Mark Wynn's not sure whether they'll go over the tape, but they were found wanting on 4 or 5 occasions when the ball was there to be won.
Don't you chip him and stuff. What are you talking about? What would you know about it?
Well, I know as much about premierships as you do.
Well, yeah, you've been involved
Neither
in a couple.
of us have played in one.
Been involved in 3 of them, actually.
No, but hang on. What? 3 what? Under 12s, under 11s and under 10s?
Brian...
I don't know where you're going with this, Tone, but keep going.
I was just going to say, Brian, they're younger players who had stood up all year. That's where they weren't able to get the job done. Chaplin, Pettigrew, Pearce, even blokes like Rowan and Motlop, all those guys were the ones that weren't able to get it done.
What are you on about?
No, what are you on about? You're laying the boots into Choco because...
we're not laying the boots into Choco. I'm just simply saying that they were so preoccupied with being calm and controlled that in the end they were caught underprepared in terms of being ready to go at the moment of impact.
Tone, Mark Williams was terrific after the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
he would have been devastated. He led
we're
from
probably
the
going
front.
to catch up with Mark Williams a little later on. And let's see if you've got the courage and the fortitude to hit him up with that one.
Don't turn this into a Mark Williams back. I said
that's exactly what you did, mate.
I'm talking about the whole team, Tony.
Oh, don't yell, Brian, really, because it might just do the very last one.
Better team, Tone.
I've had a go at people in Pink's ties before, and I'll tell you what, you'll be next.
I'm sure you have, Brian.
Brian, I can understand if they got blown out of the water in the first 10 minutes and they lost by 5 goals, but they were completely dominated in every facet of the game.
And their young players were over. They played through the middle of the ground. Port tried to chip the ball around the outsides of the ground. Their first 8 inside 50s went wide.
26 weeks we've been putting up with this bloke.
Yeah, well, actually...
Brian, you can make it 25 in a bit if you want, all right? You can go right now if you want.
I don't think it's about... Tone, I don't think it's about you or Brian. I think this is about Geelong and Port.
Right.
So
and
I
think
the people at home would like to know that Geelong have had a fantastic season and Port would be really disappointed with the loss.
And despite Brian's pot shots at Choco Williams, I think you would have to agree that was just terrific stuff at the end of the game yesterday when he walked over and thanked each and every one and congratulated each and every one of those Geelong boys.
Don't try and put words into my mouth. I said nothing about Mark Williams.
This would have been tough. He led from the front. And when it's easy to lead from the front when things are going well, but Mark Williams, shoulders back, head up, walked over to the Geelong players. First class as far as I'm concerned, Mark Williams after the game.
Absolutely. And as disappointing as that would have been, there's no more competitive person and really knows what finals footy's about. But he did show some real humility there, going over, and he wasn't down in the dumps. He genuinely meant it. He shook hands with the players. You saw him shake hands with the trainers. It was just.
Can I just say one thing? Not wanting to.
You're still going.
A lot of babies on the ground after the game.
Yeah.
Very dangerous situation in scenes of
we're tackling the big issues today, folks.
No, and I just reckon the AFL have got to look into that and say, well, someone's going to get hurt sooner or later here.
What?
Well, I don't know,
was that a danger? Was that a danger?
I don't know whether you realise, but the fence collapsed at the punt road end while the Geelong players were within metres of it. In fact, Tom Harley got a cut knee from it. If that had been one of the players holding a baby, what would be happening right now? What would be the story today?
No, BT, I'd have to agree with you there. Absolutely spot on.
We've got Geelong having won a premiership by 119 points, record proportions, and you're worried about babies being on the ground.
One little thing.
Billy had a fantastic mark in grand finals.
Yep.
I think it was overshadowed yesterday. I thought Paul Chapman's mark yesterday was absolutely sensational. Have a look at this. This angle here is a good one. This is a better angle, BT. Warren Treadray. I've been under there a few times, was it? But that is a magnificent... Take a bow was. That's a magnificent mark from Paul Chapman. What a look, what do you say?
What do we make of the pre-match entertainment? It's always a favourite hobby horse to actually bag the pre-match. I thought it was terrific.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic having all of those old players involved, and I know Bix was out there for yet his 41st lap of honour, but Jet were playing. I reckon it was great because we got back to the traditional roots of football rather than all the garbage we've carried on with recent years with Australian Idol bloody contenders and
Not sure what was going on at this stage. We thought, what's this young lady doing in this the balloon? But then all of a sudden, out of the crowd, Jimmy Hurd stands up, that was a nice touch. That was fantastic.
It actually had it was Olympic-esque, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
And this is where obviously it was supposed to land on that actual podium there, but it worked just as well. The crowd loved it because she tried and tried and tried again. And
those leotards are touch tight, but they were good.
I think Peter Jones might have been responsible for that. Was that the guy that was put in charge?
I don't know.
It was good anyway, whatever it was. The retirees, we were wondering how they were going to do this because they dispensed with the motorcade.
I prefer to see the motorcade personally, Tone. I think it was great how they put them out in the centre of the ground. They walked through the crowd, but I just think they get a chance to see all the crowd going around in the Toyota Klugers.
Well, the only thing is for the Hurd and Archer family, they would have needed the Partridge family bus to go around in because have a look at that. Now, Brian, what do you think of this?
Oh, look, I don't know, but Toyota, who are the major sponsors of the AFL, surely they were able to get their product on the ground. Glenn Archer and his family, fantastic moment. Good on them.
You're not happy with the children being on the ground?
That's all right, because it's a controlled environment. That's a nice touch to going through the crowd, but I just think the players, when they, Bix, and you've been there, you've done about, 42 laps of honour now. When you actually go around the crowd, you get to see every one of them.
And he was back out there yesterday, weren't you? Standing there like
again.
You look like a statue. Well, you could have blinked.
This was quite amazing.
This was fantastic.
I got a phone call earlier in the week, and they said we want some old Premiership players to be on the... to be out and involved in
things. You could be a mannequin in any store.
What do I just move around and hold it up?
Don't bore us with the details. No. You jumped at the opportunity. You approached the AFL to be involved.
They asked me to be involved, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and none of the players did. They kept it a secret. We walked into this room, and there were the 90 Premiership cups, the actual cups.
I heard that Roo was out there, and you said, hang on, I've been the Premiership captain twice at this club. Where's my chop? You're in there.
I said Roo was I wanted to have one in each hand.
Aren't you lapped out now?
Oh, Brian, what is it with you, mate?
41 laps.
Brian, you're right, because we were watching it yesterday.
90 out
they were supposed to go in a straight line behind the singer, which was a fantastic thing, but Bix decided to do a lap of honour. They said, no, you've actually got to stand in a straight line.
He saw the white line, he just couldn't go past it.
All right, now, at this point, we would normally cross over to Doc Larkins, but really, whatever injuries transpired from yesterday are irrelevant. But we'll cross to Doc anyway, and Brian wouldn't be happy with this, would you, BT? He's got the baby.
Oh,
hey, Doc.
No, Doc.
Oh, Brian.
Well done, Doc.
I was just taking your best. No, look, I've got to say, Tony, I mean, apart from Billy, I'm probably the longest serving Geelong supporter that's been involved with the footy show, and, you know, you can't tell you what it means to the city down there. I mean, they go back, the emotion of the city rides on how the footy team goes, as we know, and we saw some vision, you know, with Billy early in that, and we're going down there today. I'll be down joining Billy straight after the show.
Week off work, Doc, this week? You have a week off work?
No, it's just a bit of a quieter week. I mean,
well, I wouldn't be trusting you going under the knife this week, Doc.
I've come up all right considering. I'll see how I am tomorrow. But no, look, we'll take it in. I mean, 44 years is a long time. And you go back, Geelong's had some terrific setbacks. You know, we go back to the things with the Pyramid Building Society. The whole city was affected by that. And they said if the footy team does well, the emotions have come up. It's taken another 18 years from that time. So, look, it'll be great. And we'll be all down there and seeing everybody today. So.
All right, good on you, Doc. Enjoy the moment, that's for sure. So, Doc, one of the multitude of Cat supporters who will be down there at Cardinia Park today. We're going to take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. When we come back, we will look in detail at that big win by the Cats. We'll also later in the show catch up with one of the originals of the Sunday Footy Show, because this is our 400th show. Biggs, can you believe that?
We wanted to have a banner, and we were going to bring our kids and run through the banner, but Brian banned that. We weren't.
No kids.
All right, we'll see you after the break and talk more about that magnificent win by Geelong right here on the Sunday Footy Show.
This feels strange and untrue, and I won't waste a minute without you.
Geez, will Geelong supporters ever tire of those scenes? I think not. They'll be going around and around and around and again on that DVD player down there. Let's head back to Geelong now, where Billy Brownless has got a couple of the heroes from yesterday's win. Billy.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Just getting a glass of water here. I've got the very good player yesterday, Andrew Mackie. Welcome, Mac.
Hey Bill, how you going, mate?
I'm not as good as you, but well done yesterday. And old Normie here himself, Stevie Johnson, the Norm Smith medalist, Premiership player, All-Australian. Jono, you're a star.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, obviously so rapt to get the Premiership Cup back to Geelong, so everyone's happy down here and it's just great to be a part of it.
Stevie,
John's probably had more to drink than Mackie.
Stevie, do you have to pinch yourself? It's been, the first 5 weeks of the year weren't great for you, but Norm Smith medal, All-Australian, now a Premiership. Has it sunk in yet?
I don't think so. I mean, it will take a few days, but obviously you never dream of these sort of things to happen, but obviously always had the confidence that I could get back and the team could have this sort of success, so it's just great to be part of, as I said, and we're really going to enjoy this.
Well, Andrew, what about yourself? How did you enjoy the night? Did you sort of keep yourself in relatively good shape so that you're actually able to remember the night?
Yeah, it's Bomber gave us good advice after the game and said, to not get too, I suppose, pissed, and he said, just take it easy and just enjoy the moment, and so you remember more than a couple of hours of it, because he said his first one he couldn't remember after 2 hours, so we did that, and now we've had a good night, and some good times ahead, I reckon.
Yeah, we're just starting the highlights and looking through them. Geelong got away to a great start. Just what about the feeling when you ran out into the ground? It must be, if you had to describe that to someone watching, what's the first feeling you get when you get out there?
No, it's fantastic, Pix. We thought we were a chance from the start. What was it like, John, out there?
Yeah, an amazing feeling, really. I mean, we played in front of the same sort of crowd the week before, and it was a great feeling for us to be able to play in front of that sort of crowd. It was a great experience, and I think it helped us a lot. But the roar of the crowd when we kicked a goal was just amazing, and obviously Collingwood had a lot of supporters the week before, but Geelong fans definitely got out there this week and supported us, and they really got behind us, and it just really drove us to. That's why we probably kicked so many goals.
Here he is, Jono on the end of it. Beautiful, son. Well done.
Boys, you must have been wrapped with your hardness. I thought the way you worked in and under, you competed hard and just won all the contested ball.
Yeah, it's something we've worked on all year, and we knew that if we brought our contested game to the ground yesterday, that was going to go a long way to us winning the game, and we know Port like it uncontested and getting their free numbers back, so it was a big focus, and it seemed to turn out all right yesterday.
To Steve, these are the first you've seen of any highlights of the game, Steve, and what's the one moment in the game that you have lasting memory of?
It's hard to say. I mean, every little thing that happens in the grand final is just it's just a surreal feeling, really. I mean, you just enjoy every bit of it, and you just try to soak it all up. But I suppose that time when Gary stole the ball and kicked the goal, that really got us going. It was just inspirational, really.
Andrew, you're a part of a really successful backline all year. Yesterday it was impenetrable. What about playing alongside Matthew Scarlett, Tom Harley, some of those guys? What a pleasure that must have been for you.
Yeah, it has been all year. And you could add Darren Milburn and all that to that sort of, the blokes you were just talking about. And it's just great for me to be a young bloke going into that sort of backline. It really helps me out, and I'm just privileged to be part of the team, and obviously a part of that backline.
Andrew, what are you expecting down at Cardinia Park today? What are you thinking is going to happen down there today?
I think there's going to be a bit going on down here. I heard there was a bit going on last night. We come back, we went to a bit of a private function, but there's people already walking past where we are now, Lord of the Isles, and it's going off, so we're going to really enjoy it and just lap it up.
Steve, Billy, if I can ask Steve, a lot of people said the game was over at half-time. When did you think that you had the game in the bag, and after that must have been pretty enjoyable playing out that last bit of the game when you knew you had it won?
Yeah, that's right, Vic. Obviously at half-time we're a fair show that we're going to win the game, but obviously you never rest on your morals and you just try and play the game out, and Bomber actually said to us, never think that the game's actually won until the final siren's gone. So, during that third quarter when we kicked a couple of goals early, and we probably felt that we'd had the game wrapped up by then. And Cam Mooney kicked this goal that you see here. Obviously a great goal, and we felt like we were going to go away with it then. But our pressure and our forward line the way we just scrapped the ball.
Look at this. Look at this. Why did you give that away? Why wouldn't you kick a goal there?
It's just about the team, Bill. Just doing the team thing. I would have liked to have snagged this one.
We're getting a good crowd in here. I reckon it's rest on your laurels too, and it's the moral of the story. But don't worry about that, Jono. You've been up all night. That's fantastic. Hey, Andrew Mackey here. Mac, is this the first grand final, AFL grand final you've ever been to?
Yeah, that's right, Bill. I always said I wanted to, save my, going to the grand final. I wanted to always play in one before I went and watched, and yeah, I happened to do that and won it, so it's a pretty good feeling.
It's not a bad effort, boys. First grand final to go to, and he's up on the dais.
Just one thing there, Billy. How do the boys feel about Blake missing out, and of course Egan missing out as well? The only two guys on the list that haven't played in a premiership this year.
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing for those boys. We really feel like they're really much a part of this side. Matty Egan's put in a tremendous year. He's obviously All-Australian centre-half back. He's an integral part of our side, and he deserves to be there. And we won't forget the efforts he's put in during the year, and also Mark Blake. Obviously pretty stiff to miss out on the game, but he's done a great job for us, and he's still developing. He's got a lot of games ahead of him.
All right, Steve, we really appreciate your time this morning, and Andrew, congratulations to you again. It is quite bizarre to think that it's your one and only grand final that you've been to, and you walk away with a medallion. But just when they think they've got the biggest prize in football, what else have we got, Lou?
All these prizes here, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, well, we've got the Aquila shoes, of course.
The Aquila shoes, and a voucher for $250. Man, what a fuss. The Waterside Hotel, $100 dinner.
Yeah.
And the Stanley Fat Max Extreme spanner.
The Fubar.
The Fubar. And the official effort.
AFL DVD trivia game.
Fantastic.
And the boys can, now that the season's over, they can, you can do it through the season too.
Original donuts.
That's right. So,
fantastic.
Steve and Andrew, getting those prizes down the highway to you. And once again, congratulations. We really appreciate your time this morning, and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you very much, and Lou, sharpest attack there. Well done, Tony. Now, Jono, you haven't had a beer for 10 months, mate, so we finally got a beer. There you go.
God, Jono.
And it's a light, so there you go, son. You can have your first drink. No, you're not allowed to drink on here.
All right, Billy, good on you, mate. Boys. Okay, Billy Brown is...
Tonight, Top Cats, a homecoming fit for AFL's record-breaking Premiership heroes. City of celebration, the lid gets ripped off in Geelong as footy fans join the Premiership party.
Best feeling, the greatest one, best of.
And Stormwatch, Melbourne's low-key approach to snatching the silverware in that other grand final.
10 News with Helen Kapelos.
Good evening. First tonight, loyal legions of Cats fans go wild for their all-conquering heroes. The team, which broke a 44-year drought with a record-breaking win, has been lauded in its hometown. Reporter Laurel Irving joins us now from Geelong. And Laurel, it's been a long day of celebrations.
Look, the atmosphere here has been absolutely overwhelming. 30,000 fans. That's the biggest crowd there's ever been here at Skilled Stadium, and it shows you just how excited this city is about yesterday's astonishing win. Souvenir editions of the local paper sold out across the city, and even though the players didn't hit the stage until mid-afternoon, thousands of fans started arriving here for the family day early this morning. Even the threatening clouds that had been hanging around all day magically held off. It only started raining about 10 minutes after the players left the stage. It really was a magic day of celebrations for everyone to get together and for the city to say thank you to the players. And when a team took the stage, the response was absolutely deafening. It's been so long.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all.
The rapturous crowd adoring of the group who delivered what they'd craved for 44 years.
and the feeling was mutual.
We've waited so long, and just see so many people so happy with everything. It's just fantastic. Go Caddies!
Some players hadn't been to bed, but the team was ecstatic to be back home as winners.
There's so much blue and white. You must be very, very happy people. We're happy that you are happy.
The crowd was so huge the gates had to be closed at one point for half an hour.
They'll look out there because the police are a bit worried about the crowded nature around the gates.
But the gloss couldn't be taken off the day.
They brought home the cup! Go Catters!
After such a long wait, fans are simply relieved.
It was coming the day where you thought you mightn't get one. That's basically how it was. It wasn't a monkey on our back, it was a gorilla.
No one can hang shit on us anymore.
And while they certainly weren't cheap, Premiership T-shirts were hot commodities. After such a build-up, the celebrations will continue for days. A street parade is planned for the victorious team in Geelong on Wednesday. Well, the party really started in Geelong from the moment the final siren sounded, and there was drinking, dancing and singing throughout the city all through the night in what's proving to be quite a marathon celebration. Here's how Alan Rascal saw the night.
Jumping for joy, the people of Geelong celebrating their win. The heart of the city was pounding, a street party to rival New Year celebrations.
The greatest!
A sea of blue and white flooded Catland as supporters proudly showed their true colours.
Sensational. Magical.
Back in Melbourne, the boys who did all the work were still coming to terms with their historic win.
Absolutely over the moon. I can't believe it still.
If they were in any doubt, they couldn't but believe it when the champions hit Federation Square. A rock-star reception, the biggest cheer for football's ultimate prize. On the ball at the official winners' dinner, a chance for the players to let their hair down. Former Premier Steve Bracks not skirting the fact he had little faith.
I was amongst many Geelong supporters who didn't think in my lifetime I'd see a win. I'm absolutely thrilled to be proved wrong.
This too could have gone wrong. But the silverware remained intact to take pride of place in Geelong's proud history. Alan Ruskell, 10 News.
And the full impact of Geelong's triumph is still sinking in for many hardcore Cats fans. For many, the Premiership has proved to be a life-changing experience.
For Rebecca Carter, making it to the grand final was a matter of life and death. Born with life-threatening conditions to several of her major organs, the 27-year-old spent the past week in intensive care at the Geelong Hospital.
At the start, they were thinking that no, I wouldn't be able to make it. I said, look, you know, I'd rather do it with you. If I have to do it without you, then I will.
With the support of hospital staff, she made it to the game and even shared a special moment with former primary school classmate Cameron Ling amid the celebrations.
We had a bit of a chat, and the poor guy, he was shaking, offered him some oxygen.
Geelong's triumph was also a life-changing event for Gavin Wiley and Carol Shree, a promise made 17 years ago to get married if the Cats won a flag set to be delivered.
Going to have to. After all these people yesterday, we're getting a lot of congratulations from people we didn't even know.
The footy theme to extend to the big day.
Bridal party are interested in wearing Geelong stripes depending on body size and body weight, so...
It wasn't wedding bells blaring loud and proud at St Mary's, Geelong.
I told them last week that if Jesus had been in Geelong, he would have been saying, "Go Cats."
Proof the most precious spoils of victory don't come in the form of a cup or a medal.
Like I said, it was the best day of my life, and it always will be.
Cameron Bowe, 10 News.
An embarrassed and apologetic power site has fronted its supporters after the humiliating loss. The notoriously antagonistic coach now full of praise for the victorious Cats.
Next stop, Disappointment Town. 13 hours on the overland, giving fans plenty of time to dwell on what was a horrible loss. The end of the road for the players too. Embarrassed and humiliated by their own admission, the subdued group fronted their supporters at Alberton. After being accused of arrogance during the week, non-drinking coach Mark Williams was much more humble after a night on the Raspberry Cordial.
Geelong, they're a little country town and they do love their footy, so they'll be loving it today. And you know, we have to congratulate them. They're a lot better than us on the days.
But maybe just a hint of superiority.
You know, 14 other clubs would love to have been where we were yesterday, and there's no doubt about that.
Ultimately, the end couldn't come quick enough for the retiring Daryl Wakelin, as he and many fans prayed for the final siren.
Yep, yeah, I think there's a lot of our fans who are, obviously bitterly disappointed.
Well, there's just a portion of the crowd that was here at Alberton yesterday, but they're a loyal bunch, these Power supporters. Absolutely no talk of jumping off the bandwagon.
One-eyed, one-eyed port.
The reason for the loss? Simple.
Because they didn't score so much goals.
And while the fans were clearly still upset,
Really disappointed.
did you cry?
Almost.
Apparently, they're not big on affection. So, do you need a bit of a cuddle?
No, I'm fine, thanks, Jodie. Thank you. Yeah, fine.
Sure, do you want a cuddle? Finally, a taker. Jodie Blewett, 10 News.
And as 2.9 million Australians tuned into the grand final here on 10, millions of viewers across the globe also made the switch to our Aussie game. In the United States, a loyal bunch of expats joined locals to pack this Santa Monica bar to watch the big men fly. Geelong's record-breaking victory as pleasing a result for long-suffering Cats fans across the Pacific as it was back home. Now all eyes turning to that other grand final, and after last year's loss, Melbourne Storm is hoping for a reversal of fortune in the National Rugby League Premiership. The big game against Manly kicks off later this evening, and reporter Ian Cohen is in Sydney. And it would cap off a great weekend for Victoria if Storm made it over the line tonight, wouldn't it?
Yes, good afternoon to you, Helen. It would indeed. It would just be a magical weekend if it was 2 for 2 for the state of Victoria. The Storm are $1.50 favourites to get the job done here over the Manly Sea Eagles. But of course the crowds have started arriving here. They come via train to Homebush, and there's been plenty of purple flavour in there as well, as of course some Manly fans are here too. But a lot of Melbourne Storm fans have actually travelled. They've got here by train, plane and automobile, and there is plenty of colour. Earlier today, the Melbourne Storm players, well, they had a bit of a low-key start to the day. The traditional walk through Parramatta, and then of course the game of cricket that takes place there at Parramatta Park. There was plenty of opposition supporters there too, and of course the big question is Ben Cross. Now he basically did a lot of fielding and didn't do a lot of batting or bowling, so Ben Cross's hamstring remains a problem. Billy Slater you saw there doing some wicket keeping, so his knee should be certainly right as far as that goes, but it is going to be a massive game. The Storm fans are going to be outnumbered, but they will be in a really, really loud voice. Take it, but there's going to be people here. Hopefully Melbourne Storm can make it 2 out of 2, which would be great. We'll have details on Sports tonight. It's going to be a great night.
We get the point. Go the Storm. Thanks, Ian. Ian Cohen reporting live from Sydney.
AFL and more than 25,000 delirious Geelong fans have turned out to celebrate yesterday's historic win. The Premiership Cup back in Victoria for the first time since 2000, and Kelly Underwood witnessed the biggest party Geelong has ever seen.
Well, Brad, the party has certainly made up for 44 years of heartbreak. Geelong's home ground bursting at the seams as tens of thousands converge to welcome their Premiership heroes. The stadium rocking to thunderous applause as the players were introduced to the crowd. They were looking a little worse for wear after a long night celebrating in Melbourne and then heading on to Geelong. But a moment this city will never forget, the Premiership Cup back in Geelong for the first time since 1963.
Oh, I don't know how many people are here, but thanks for everyone coming out. It's fantastic. So much blue and white, and we're going to celebrate this for a very, very long time.
You don't expect these sort of things, but they're trying to talk me out of this, but... Go Caddies! We went to Federation Square last night, obviously the game, and today there's so much blue and white. You must be very, very happy people. We're happy that you are happy.
So what a 24 hours it has been for these players. After a record 119-point victory, the euphoria set in. It sparked wild celebrations that started in Melbourne and then headed to Geelong.
44 years of pain erased in a matter of seconds. And there it is! They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years, but the torture is finally over.
Lingy ran past me and said, just look around, take it in. I think I gave Lingy the biggest bear hug of my life. I kept screaming in his ear. I think I might have made it deafen him.
Geelong capping a dominant season with the most one-sided victory in grand final history. There are feel-good stories throughout the class of 2007. The Ablett boys accomplishing the one thing their legendary father never could. Steve Johnson rising from ostracised troublemaker to Norm Smith medalist. All the way was Stevie J! There's Stephen King's redemption and Cam Mooney. Finally, he has a Premiership medallion to be proud of. The Premiers travelled from the MCG to Melbourne's Federation Square, where thousands of Cat fans savoured the moment. From Fed Square, it was on to the casino for the official team dinner. Coach Mark Thompson now just the 7th man to captain and then coach a premiership.
It's a special moment, and well done Geelong, and thank you for all your support over a long period of time.
Down the highway, the people of Geelong kick-started a party 44 years in the making. We're kicking! But it was a far more sombre mood for Port fans, wallowing in their team's shattering end to the season.
So there you have it, Brad, the agony and the ecstasy from the AFL Grand Final 2007. And it's far from over, the partying in Geelong. A street parade planned for Wednesday, and you just get the feeling, Brad, they're going to be dancing in the streets for some time to come.
This is National 9 News with Joe Hall.
A rousing welcome home. The Cats greet their faithful who've waited so long.
So thanks for everyone coming out. It's fantastic. So much blue and white, and we're going to celebrate this for a very, very long time.
Good evening. Around 30,000 fans have crammed into Geelong's home ground to help the Cats celebrate their long-awaited success. The team was given an extraordinary reception as they brought home the Premiership Cup after 44 years of disappointment. Christina Hearn is in Geelong. Christine?
Thanks very much, Joe. Good evening. Well, as if to emphasise the fact that the drought has indeed broken here, the heavens opened as the players were leaving the stage, and it's only just stopped raining a short time ago. It's hard to believe now, but this place was absolutely packed to the rafters just a few hours ago. Scenes the players and coach said they never dreamed they would see. After more than 4 decades, the Premiership Cup was finally back at the Caddy. Fans packing into every vantage point, sporting only the 2 colours that matter.
So much blue and white, and we're going to celebrate this for a very, very long time.
There's so much blue and white. You must be very, very happy people. We're happy that you are happy.
And they only got happier as players were presented on stage one by one. Some a little more energetic than others after a big night of celebration. The Norm Smith medalist, though, a little worse for wear.
Yeah, busy. I mean, it's a great feeling.
The Cats song, though, rung out clearly. Such was the demand to see Geelong's heroes. The gates were temporarily shut at Skilled Stadium, angering fans.
25 people just walked out. Let us in.
Sensing a public relations disaster, more grandstands were opened and the gates unlocked. Inside, long-suffering supporters were overwhelmed by the occasion.
Can't believe it. It's surreal.
It hasn't sunk in yet. I'm hoping today it will.
While the Cameron Ling brothers were just happy the drought had broken.
Hey, we had a monkey on our back. No, it wasn't a monkey. It was a gorilla.
Others were talking about a dynasty.
We'll probably string 4 or 5 together, I reckon, with this group that we've got. And what are you laughing at? I'm fair dinkum.
Let's get over this one and then celebrate this, and then let's look forward to next year.
While the Cats were keen just to enjoy this moment, Mark Thompson's future in Geelong looks secure.
Well, it'll be probably a 3-minute review over the board table or something like that.
I tried to ring Frank this morning, but he didn't answer his phone.
Look, I'll talk to them in due time, and I don't think it'll be a big problem, really.
Not if these fans have anything to say about it. This supporter summing it all up.
So they have given me everything this year. It's wonderful. It's been worth all the years of waiting.
Yes, that certainly was the sentiment shared around the stadium today, and the party goes on while the players will gather privately to continue on their celebrations. They'll be back on show on Wednesday, where a street parade has been planned through the CBD for around about lunchtime. No doubt thousands of fans will again gather to cheer on the Premiership team. This city shows no signs of quietening down. For now though, Joe, it's back to you.
Thanks, Christine. And indeed, millions of dollars is likely to be splurged on the Premiership celebrations. Clint Stanaway spent the day in the heart of the city.
Lost somewhere in football's wilderness for 44 years, a Premiership has the Cats up and about. The morning after the night before, and celebrations continued in pubs across town.
We're loving it at the moment. Absolutely fantastic.
Party all night?
All night for the next week or more.
Good, and I'm recharged. And I notice no one drinks these ones down here, so we're on the biggies again.
But the partying proved too much for some.
I did have a wild night last night.
Recovering?
Yes, very sore head this morning.
Locals say they've never seen anything like it before. Geelong city centre erupting in colour and voice. Outnumbered police forced at one stage to block a section of the CBD. There were more civilised celebrations at Federation Square, with tens of thousands of fans filling the precinct, and what a reception they gave their heroes.
A cheer for our Premiership captain, Tom Howard!
From there, and with a few beers already consumed, the colourful group were hailed by friends, family and sponsors at Crown Casino.
Today we've actually just finished it off in the most wonderful way you could ever imagine, haven't we?
Coach Mark Thompson's speech interrupted by one player's insistence on ringing his mobile phone.
You are a smart ass. You are a smart ass.
Back in Geelong, stores are now stocking Premiership merchandise. Even replica cups are available for sale.
All been miserable till now.
What will this do for the town?
Oh, you wait.
Oh, it's going to fire us up even more. Like, bring it on. Bring it on.
And just to give you an idea of what football means to this town and its people, this is the local paper, and today every page is dedicated to the Cats.
This is huge for them, huge for the name brand of Geelong, and it's going to be great for our economy.
This will resonate, for quite some time. It's just been a great result for Geelong.
A sure sign this party will continue for some time yet. In Geelong, Clint Stanaway, National 9 News.